were talking about, picking up on that. The jury decided that they wanted to hear the prosecution's rebuttal tomorrow morning rather than continue on for several more hours tonight. And I'm wondering, in your experience, I know as a prosecutor, I want what I'm saying to be what they hear and before they deliberate. But what does this tell you about the advantage or what they may be thinking about when the jury hears them?
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Thank you for having me. I want you to know I've really enjoyed watching you grow from being a guest to a guest host, and you're doing a great job, Laura.
Well, thank you.
Let's talk. You got it. So let's talk about this jury. Lawyers love closing argument, but the reality is it's the least important part of the trial. Most jurors have made up their mind by now. I think what happened with this is they wanted to go home. They've had enough. They know they weren't going to reach a verdict today. By the way, Laura, I think it's going to be a verdict that's coming in before Thanksgiving. So they wanted to, have the night to rest because they know they've got a big day starting tomorrow. I think it's advantage Roddy that his lawyer got to go last because remember, the theme about Roddy is the only thing that guy shot was the video. The video but for that video, you got no case here. So I think the prosecution's going to have a big advantage in the morning because she's going to get 2 hours unencumbered, no response from the defense. That's good. But I got to tell you, Laura, I think that with respect to a couple of the defendants, I think the state has some problems with their case. I think they've got problems, as I've said, with what I call the filmer, with Roddy. I think they've got problems with the dad's case. Travis's case, the shooter, I think that's the strongest case that the prosecution has. But I want to say
let me ask you, hold on, before you get to that, because I do, from the perspective of the jury, that's what I'm curious about in terms of what the shortcomings might be, because, you're a really great jury consultant, and I'm wondering what the jury thinks about this. I mean, it consists of 11 white jurors and only 1 black juror. There's no question, of course, that race is a huge component of this case in the court of public opinion, certainly, but on the backdrop of why he was actually pursued for as long. So how do you think the jury is going to address the role that race may have played, I use the term may have played loosely, in Arbrey's killing, knowing that they're sitting after this for federal hate crime prosecution as well?
Yeah, so they've got 1 black juror in there with them. I think that black juror is going to have a lot of power back in that jury room, okay? Because those other jurors, and by the way, I want to be clear with everybody. Those defense lawyers, we may think what they did was reprehensible, but they're not playing to the court of public opinion. They're playing to that jury in that courtroom. They're playing to those 11 white jurors that are in there. And I'm going to talk truth to power right now, Laura. You ready? They wanted Bubba's, and they were talking to Bubba's. That pathetic line about the dirty toenails, that was straight dog whistle is all that was. They are playing to that jury because what they're trying to do is get the jury to feed into stereotypes that they have, that they want to keep their homes safe, and we got to be careful about people that come into our neighborhoods. And the only point I want to make is I really hope the prosecutor says tomorrow, close your eyes. And if those 3 men, if the man that was running was white and the 3 men that were chasing after him were black, what would your verdict be? Because it ought to be the exact same in either case. So the defense lawyers are playing to that jury. That's all they care about is that jury. The prosecutors, they want to impassion that jury with the idea that the law has to treat everybody the same. But here's the reality, Laura. People that are gun owners and people that are conservative are much more lenient and much more accepting of self-defense, and that's the mountain that the prosecution is going to have to fight against in terms of Roddy, the filmer, and the dad. In terms of the son who shot the shot, we'll see. I think he's going to be convicted of something. We'll see what it is.
We'll see what it is, and we'll see if you're right. Remember, the voir dire process, as you well know, probably contemplated each of these aspects of it, and the idea of asking questions to surmise somebody's ability to be impartial with perhaps a wink. Thank you for your time, Robert Hirschhorn. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Laura.